Oh, what is that?
Everybody get in my truck.
When you're out in the woods in the middle of the night, it can be
How do you feel about camping? I personally like camping. You get to make s'mores and sit around a campfire telling ghost stories to friends and family. As for the people in this video, they probably stopped camping altogether. And here's why.
Since 2017, a YouTuber named Phil has been uploading videos of his hiking trips to his channel Hike Slam, where he gives his viewers a glimpse into everything he does to prepare for a long hike, camp alone in the middle of the woods, choose the right hiking gear, and pretty much everything related to the outdoors.
There you go.
On the night before Thanksgiving 2021, Phil went on an overnight hike to camp on the Appalachian Trail near his house in Virginia. For the first half hour of his hike, things kick off pretty normally, but after a while, he finds some odd-looking trash lying on the side of the trail. Strangely, there appears to be some writing on some of the containers he finds, which appear to be song lyrics, though it's hard to imagine why anyone would go through the trouble of writing out entire songs or poems on a plastic container only to later throw it on the side of the trail. As he crosses the boundary into the wilderness, things continue to get stranger and stranger, and as he nears the campsite, Phil finds another series of disturbing notes.
The weirdness continues.
Wait, what song is that, y'all? Always a hiker? Let me know if y'all can read this, and let me know if y'all know any of these songs.
Dead duck here.
If y'all know any of these songs. Oh my god, that's a whole song right there.
Some of the notes appear to contain cryptic poems, others seem to talk about in-depth conspiracy theories, and
oh, my fault, never mind. Who's gonna, I'm gonna pause it right here, but who's gonna take the time to analyze this? I'm not even gonna lie, I can't even read half the mess in this.
Undercover federal agents or something, and the rest appear to be biographical, with whoever wrote them telling parts of their story. It's tough to confirm if the person who wrote the notes was the same person who killed the duck, but honestly, it would be too much of a coincidence for the dead duck to be lying right there next to the series of creepy notes, which were obviously placed there recently considering they're in good condition and not wet. After taking in the eerie scene, Phil notices a tarp and a fire next to a campsite about 20 yards away from the notes and the dead duck. Staying as far away as possible from the campsite, he continues making his way up to a shelter. Although this next part wasn't caught on camera, Phil then reported that he saw two women coming down the trail with their dog, asking him if he had seen the guy who was leaving the creepy notes and dead animals on the side of the trail.
They probably said no.
Phil mentioned he saw a campsite and a fire a few yards away from the notes. The woman got scared and asked him to walk back to their car with them. Thinking it was probably a good idea to move as far away as possible from the campsite anyway, Phil went back with them and then started hiking in the other direction to find a safer place to spend the night.
Okay.
Fortunately, the rest of his hike to the new shelter was a lot more uneventful for Phil, and once he got there, he was able to set up a camp for the night, light a fire, and enjoy his dinner miles away from the disturbing notes he found. A few minutes later, once it got dark, Phil decided to go into the shelter and check out the camp log and see some of the notes and stories other hikers had left behind, and that's when things get extremely creepy again.
I'm gonna check out the shelter log here. I hang out by the fire. Almost every shelter on the Appalachian Trail has a shelter log.
What?
Where people write in their trail names and what's going on. They can write whatever they want in there. So it's kind of cool tradition here. So let's see what this one says. Little engine, back section. Hiking again, finally. It's nice and little trail magic.
That's back in 2021.
Writing and stuff. Alright, let's see what's happened recently.
Nothing?
Holy crap.
So, like, do you put it back for people to write more, or, like, what is this?
Well, I'm adjust the camera here.
This is new to me.
Looks almost exactly like the writing that was on that garbage a couple of miles from here.
Even though the shelter where Phil's currently staying at is more than 2 miles away and on the other side of the road from the previous one. The handwriting in the camp log is exactly the same as the handwriting that was on the notes and garbage on the other side of the road. This is pretty disturbing in itself, but it gets even more so when Phil starts to actually read some of the content in the logbook.
2018, while I was incarcerated at the Okaloosa County Jail. What the heck?
Bruh.
In solitary confinement, I figured the following out. Refer to Isaiah 28:15 through 9. This is the same ramblings from the guy that was on the other side of the river. That's kind of scary. Kind of weird.
Yeah, I'd say so.
They said they were going to call the police on the guy. Wow, this is weird. It's just like it goes in one direction,
False prophet?
Then it goes in a completely different direction. And there's just so much of it.
Russian conclusion?
Like
Wicked
this line up
schemes?
here. Think grave robbery in an attempt to obscure the reality of Little Mrs. Wolf. Content. Come up with some more of those wicked schemes, JB and company, so I can show some more of your true character.
What
The fact that there's
the?
a convicted felon walking around the woods leaving dark and weird notes all over the place is extremely concerning, and based on the kinds of stuff the guy is writing, he's probably not in his right mind. This could obviously be dangerous for Phil, especially since it's already pretty dark and he doesn't appear to have anything to defend himself with. As he gets ready to go to sleep in his tent, Phil walks back to the shelter once more, where he finds half a Gatorade bottle hanging from a string on the ceiling
What?
with a note
What?
in the same guy's handwriting that reads, "Watch out for Yeet Mouse. The dead do walk and talk."
What?
Understandably creeped out by yet another disturbing note, Phil tries to fall asleep in his tent, obviously a little on edge from everything that happened that day. The last thing you'd want to happen if you were in Phil's position would probably be to start hearing strange noises near the shelter in the middle of the night, and that's exactly what happened. While he was falling asleep, he heard something moving near the shelter, and as he poked his head out of the tent, he saw a single guy with a headlamp walking around the shelter. Not wanting to find out if it was the same guy who had been leaving notes, he quietly made his way back to the truck in the middle of the night, checking over his shoulder the entire way to make sure he wasn't being followed. Luckily, he made it back home safely, and as of 2024, he hasn't uploaded another video about the strange notes he found on the Appalachian Trail. It's pretty likely that dozens of other hikers after him came across the disturbing notes and the dead duck, but we'll probably never know who exactly the guy who wrote them was, or what he would have done if he ran into any unsuspecting campers.
Okay, real quick. Have y'all ever encountered like some creepy stuff while camping? I personally never have. Yeah, nothing even close to this, like at all. Honestly, yeah, I don't think I've ever encountered anything creepy while I was camping. Well, as of yet, but nah, that is wicked.
Grizzly Gaz is a camping channel on YouTube consisting of dozens of videos featuring Gaz, the uploader, going on hiking and camping trips in the UK with his French bulldog named Fendi.
Okay.
In a lot of his videos, he goes camping in some pretty extreme conditions, and he often shows footage of his unexpected encounters with big animals in the middle of the woods. In April 2023, Gaz uploaded a video of a camping trip he made somewhere in the woods in the UK. The first part of the camping trip goes pretty much according to plan, with the footage showing Gaz setting up his tent and chopping wood to make a fire while his dog Fendi keeps him company as the sun begins to set.
Aww.
This next part wasn't shown in the footage, but as Gaz started to prepare his steak dinner over the fire, a random man in jeans and a coat approached his campsite and asked him for a beer and some food.
Steak dinner? Look at that. Look, that looks amazing. Ain't nothing like it. Ain't nothing like it.
Bit of ribeye. Pot boiling for some mash.
Pretty sure.
And I've got a visitor.
Oh, I was like, hey, yo, back up, son. I was like, who is this? But okay, they homies. Or he said a visitor, so they might be homies, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Creeped up behind me asking me if I had a light. Me pants.
Okay, so they don't know each other.
This is Martin anyway.
Hey,
I don't know him, but he's stopping for a steak, so...
just some random crate wandering about.
You went round here in a poncho a couple of months ago, were you?
Don't think I was. I could have been.
Although the encounter with the man itself was pretty tame, it's still pretty creepy to be camping in the woods in the middle of nowhere and suddenly be approached by a random guy asking for things.
Right.
If you listen closely to what he's saying, some of the guy's sentences are a little incoherent, and he appears to ramble a bit when he talks, almost like he's kind of out of it. Later in the footage, Gaz reveals that Martin was homeless, and that as they shared their dinner, he told Gaz his story about how he had ruined his life with the drugs, and how he had ended up walking alone in the woods that day. Disturbingly, Gaz also mentioned that while they were having dinner, he turned around for a few seconds to chop some more wood to keep the fire going, and when he turned back around, Martin had left the campsite unannounced without even thanking Gaz for the food. After the strange encounter, the uploader decided to leave the campsite and head home out of fear that the man would possibly tell his friends about meeting some guy camping out in the middle of the woods with expensive filming equipment lying around and suggest robbing him or possibly worse.
This man is smart. It's them natural instincts. I'm telling you. I mean, that is sad for Martin, but nah, honestly, I would have done the same thing. Plus, like, you didn't even give me a thank you. Come on now. Come on now.
To see if Martin would come back in the middle of the night with possibly ill intentions, Gaz actually left a trail camera on the tree at the campsite to capture everything that happened that night. Based on his behavior, it's pretty hard to gauge Martin's intentions and know whether he was just confused and possibly under the influence, or if he had something more sinister planned that evening. Either way, it's probably a good thing that Gaz left the campsite and didn't go back until the next morning.
I agree.
Especially since, when he did go back, his trail camera that he had left was completely gone.
Bruh. I was gonna give Martin the benefit of the doubt. I mean, technically, I technically would still give him the benefit of the doubt, only because maybe he was nervous and maybe he figured, like, maybe he felt unwelcome there. So maybe he was just nervous and, like, I don't know, maybe forgot to say thank you. But for the trail cam to be gone, yeah, it could have been Martin and his homies, or it could have just been an animal or someone random. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too nice. I don't know.
Creepy Outdoors is a channel where the uploader frequently shows footage of his nighttime visits to sketchy outdoor locations
In the
during
snow?
all 4 seasons. In October 2022, Creepy Outdoors uploaded a video of a camping trip he took to an unnamed forest in the middle of nowhere, recording everything he saw as he explored some of the surrounding woods in the darkness.
You got a gun?
For the first few minutes, all you can hear is the guy's breathing, and you can't help but be kind of amazed at how brave it is to visit a dark forest in the middle of nowhere all alone, not knowing if you're going to run into potentially hostile animals or something else. As the video progresses, the uploader makes a few comments and observations on his surroundings, and throughout the footage there doesn't appear to be anyone else in the forest with him. Around 13 minutes in though, an extremely disturbing sound takes the footage in a pretty dark direction.
He said a no-name forest? But
Hi. What?
that's what I'm saying, bro. Why is your light off?
I need to get out of here.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Why are you still here?
Boy. Ooh. Okay. That was fucking creepy. I need to get out of here.
It could have been an
In the
animal, though.
distance, probably a couple of hundred feet away from the uploader, a voice yells, "I see you." It's possible that the disturbing sound was made by a coyote or a fox.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Because it
thinking.
sounded so much like "I see you," it could have also been another camper trying to mess with the uploader and scare him. Because the YouTuber had been talking and making noise almost the whole time, he might have inadvertently alerted someone else who may have wanted to play a prank on him just for the fun of it. Still, it's hard to imagine why anyone else would be wandering in the same secluded part of the woods as the uploader. What's
Right.
most disturbing is that the person or animal or whatever it was that made the noise appeared to yell out right after the guy turned off his lamp, almost as if they were waiting for that to happen.
That
to
is
yell out something
creepy.
disturbing. Luckily, the uploader was able to make it back to his campsite safely and has continued uploading outdoor footage to this day.
Okay.
Sam is a YouTuber from Cleveland, Ohio, who's been uploading videos of his stealth camping trips to his channel, The Northwest Wind, since 2016.
Like, if you love camping that much, a little voice in the woods or sound in the woods is not gonna scare you. So I kind of respect homie for, you know, continuing to do what he does.
For those of you who don't know, stealth camping just means parking your camper van pretty much anywhere without paying for parking, and people do it anywhere from residential neighborhoods to the middle of nowhere. In
Okay.
January 2024, Sam uploaded footage of his stealth camping trip to the woods in Cleveland, leaving his camper van at a local dog park a few hundred yards away. On his way into the woods, he finds a camping tent that's been shredded to pieces, which is honestly a little creepy, but he keeps going anyway. After setting up his tent in the woods, he starts cooking dinner on a camping stove.
What you making?
As the sun starts to set, he sees a couple of people walking by the campsite, and this is when he mentions that he's getting a bad vibe and feels like he's possibly in danger from them. Most experienced campers would probably tell you that if your gut is telling you something's wrong, you should probably call it a day and leave.
Yes,
Sam
sir.
decided to stick it out for the night and kept on recording. As soon as he settles down in his tent to get some sleep, things start to get very creepy.
There's somebody. Hang on.
Wait, have I seen this?
See it or not through the tent. I don't think so. I'm leaning right up against the light, but somebody's walking around out there very close to the tent.
If homie pulls out a knife, I've seen this. If he doesn't, then I haven't.
As the seconds pass by, the footsteps outside seem to get louder and louder. At one point, Sam calls out to whoever's out there, but at first he doesn't get a response. It's only after he calls out for about the 5th time that every camper's worst nightmare starts to become a reality for Sam.
And if
Walking
they're
around outside in circles.
there's multiple.
Hello?
Oh God.
Hello?
Oh God.
Alright, I don't like this. Hello?
They're so close, bruh.
They're touching my tent. Stop. Hello?
Nah, fam.
Hello? Alright, I'm getting out of here. Hello? Hello?
He said they're touching my tent. Nah, this is why you always bring a weapon with you. Like, I'm being so for real. Whether it's a knife, an axe, something, bro. Because they're touching your tent is the craziest thing that you could say in this moment. And you don't know who they are. You don't know where they're at. You don't know how many of them is there. Nah.
I don't know what this is, but we're getting out of here. Hang on. Hello? Okay, they're walking away now. What do you want? What do you want? I have a knife. Where's my knife? With me. With me here. Holy crap, get away. What do you want? Hello, I can't see you.
Okay.
All right, I'm getting out of here. We're getting out of here.
No, okay.
One
I
scene that
haven't.
a lot of people
No, this isn't the one I saw. There was another one where the guy had his knife ready and he was just hollering like, "Oh, I have a knife," and you know, leave me alone and all this and that. I think it was in like one of my previous YouTube videos. But yeah, I haven't seen this one.
in the comments of Sam's video have pointed out is that if you're being stalked or attacked by a stranger in the middle of the woods, it's probably not a good idea to show weakness by saying things like, "I can't see you, I'm spooked, and I don't like this." After this, the attackers apparently leave the campsite, but as soon as he steps out of the tent, Sam sees them standing eerily in the woods just a few feet away from him.
They collapsed my tent on me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I would have remembered him specifically saying, They're touching my tent.
Which way they went? I think they went this way. I see you. Get away!
Look how dark it is, bruh.
Alright, I'm spooked.
Even with his light.
Getting out of here right now. They're just standing there.
Hold on.
They're just standing there. What are you doing?
Did y'all hear someone running?
Alright, I'm spooked. I don't like this. Get my headlamp on. Getting out of here right now. They're just standing there.
Yo.
They're just standing there. What do you want?
Yo.
Completely freaking out after the disturbing encounter, he obviously decides to call it a night and head back to his van in the park. But things only continue to get worse for Sam.
Alright, they're moving again. I don't know. I'm getting out of here. We're going. I'll come back for this some other time. Alright, let's get out of here. I'm leaving. Don't follow me. I don't know where to go. I don't know which way to get out of here.
Where's your car, dude?
I smell your cigarette. I can hear you. I hear you.
As he's making his way,
This might have been the one, actually. Because, like, low-key, he's kind of showing fear. And that's definitely what you don't want to do. I mean, you definitely want to be more aware of your surroundings for sure. But the people, or it could have just been one person, had the advantage because they now know that you're fearful of, like, okay, well, I can just chill, smoke my cigarette. He's just gonna go crazy. Like, nah, you definitely want to stand your ground at a moment like this. And you know, don't really show any signs of fear. Like, it's good to have your knife ready and willing to go, but yeah, definitely don't show fear.
back to the park, he looks back at the campsite and sees the attackers stealing his things. But he
Okay,
decides
this
to
might
leave
have
his
been the
stuff
one.
behind, terrified for his life. As he's running through the woods now, he turns back and sees his attackers chasing him.
This has got to lead back to the main trail. I don't know where they are. It's all foggy up here. I got water in my headlamp. I don't know where to go. I don't
Oh
see or hear
man,
anybody
yeah, he's scared, man. I don't blame him for sure,
anymore.
but you definitely gotta somewhat keep your composure.
I hear them coming. Can't see the shadow. Here's a path. Okay, get me there. I'm recording all of this. I'm calling up police. All right, I'm back on the path. Okay.
Yeah, you definitely gotta keep composure.
Get away from me!
After making it back to his van safely, he drove home and gave his viewers a recap of everything that happened. As you can imagine, a lot of people in the comments accused the uploader of staging the video, mentioning that nobody in their right mind would continue to record as they sprint through the woods in the dark. But his reaction seems pretty genuine to me. Different people act different ways in situations of stress.
Of course.
As for who the two guys who stalked and attacked him were and what they wanted, that's really anyone's guess. If what they did to Sam was some kind of joke, that's a pretty messed up joke to play on someone.
Yeah.
Because the uploader confirmed that they didn't end up stealing his stuff when he went back the following morning, it's also clear that looting the campsite wasn't really their main focus. We can't really know what they would have done to him if he hadn't run from the campsite, but at any rate, it's probably a good thing he did.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like, anyone can react, anyone can react differently in that situation, but I still stand by. Yeah, you can't be fearful in that situation. Just have your knife ready to go, and just try your best to look for an exit route.
Love Sundays is a camping channel on YouTube run by a guy named Sean, who uploads some pretty cool footage of his solo camping trips everywhere in the UK.
Okay.
In February 2024, he uploaded a video where he left his van on the side of the road next to the woods, and then went to do some exploring, jumping over a fence to walk through the woods.
Is it gone?
After that, Sean makes his way back to his van to make dinner, where he then heads out once again for an evening stroll through the woods.
That looked good.
Upon his return to the van, he goes to bed at about 9 p.m., but at 3 in the morning, things start to get a little disturbing.
All being well, I'll see you in the morning.
I think I've seen this in a different video.
As soon as Sean pulls back the curtains, the people who were walking around the van get back in their car. When he put his head out the window to see what was going on, the car drove away, leaving him alone for the rest of the night.
It
wasn't until the next morning that Sean realized what the visitors had done to his
I've seen this. This is pretty creepy.
van.
Right, well I think we should at least go outside and see how miserable the weather is.
That is, yeah.
My door's stuck.
Bruh.
Actual
Like, who just has zip ties just casually in hand? Like, what is this, bro?
See that? So there's obviously just people wanting to talk about and just be funny, I guess, but
I guess.
how dangerous is that? Locking someone in their van? Let me check the back door.
Oh, excuse
There's
me.
nothing on this one because they wouldn't be able to tie it to anything, would they? There's no way they could have done that door anyway.
Why someone would want to lock a stranger in their van is anyone's guess.
Right.
And the only reasonable explanation I can think of is that maybe they were trying to steal the diesel from the van and put the zip ties on the door in case Sean realized what was happening and attempted to get out to stop them.
Yeah, I've seen
Could have
that.
also been a local who didn't want anyone parking their camping van in that area, but we'll likely never know. Luckily, after he cut the zip ties off, he made it back home unharmed and has continued uploading videos of his camping adventures in the UK.
Good.
The fact
Yeah, I've never. I mean, I've been camping a lot. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but a fair amount. I've been camping, but I never came across any of this. Like, not even close.
Is a channel dedicated to sharing knowledge about the outdoors and encouraging people to explore the wilderness. In January 2022, a pretty terrifying video was uploaded to the channel in which a group of teenagers can be seen reacting to some strange sounds coming from somewhere in the woods.
Are those gunshots? Are those gunshots?
Get Trevor. Austin, get the light.
The heck was that?
Hey! That was not an elk.
I mean,
Get my keys.
it does sound kind of like an animal. But what is that?
Everybody, get in my truck.
When you're out in the woods in the middle of the night, it can be easy to
Yo, W Mans. He making sure everyone's safe. He said, if you're not in my truck, we leaving you behind. He didn't actually say that, but that's pretty funny.
mistake certain animal noises with human screams. Foxes, coyotes, and bobcats are all known to make sounds that can sometimes be hard to tell apart from human yelling. But in this case, I don't know of any animal that can make that kind of noise, especially when you consider how loud the banging on the trees was. Elk are known to rub their antlers against trees, but it obviously
Right.
doesn't sound that loud or menacing. A lot of people in the comments of the video have mentioned that the sounds aren't too different from human screams, and it could have just been a man screaming in the woods in the middle of the night.
That's
Although that's
kinda
also pretty
creepy.
messed up in itself. Even though
That's
some
kinda
viewers
creepy.
have claimed the video is staged, the uploader's reactions seem pretty genuine in this case, and the only thing we can say for sure is that it's probably a good thing that the guys didn't run into whoever or whatever was making those noises.
He said, "Everyone get in my truck." That is too good. That is too good. Oh my god. I mean, that's a W, homie. Like, he's making sure everyone's safe. He's making sure everyone's good. And yeah, he said, "Everybody get in my truck." All right, on to the next one.
Elliot Eastman was a 26-year-old man from Vermont, USA. He spent most of his early years in the tiny town of Heinsberg.
Okay.
Life there was calm and peaceful, but with a population of less than 600
Oh,
residents,
wow.
it was also quite boring. Elliot wanted to do something more with his life. So, with his love for nature and exploration in mind, he saved up some money and traveled to the Philippines near the end of 2023.
Okay,
He
okay.
wanted to slowly make his way through the entire country and witness its beauty firsthand.
Respect.
Just a couple months into his trip, he met a local woman named Carisha Jayla.
Respect. Okay.
The two started dating and got married just a few months after that in July of 2023. Then in January 2024, Elliot started posting videos on YouTube documenting his life in the Philippines with his wife. His videos were simple, without any over-the-top music or crazy editing effects, but they felt authentic and real, allowing him to amass a small but dedicated fan base.
Okay.
So his content took a massive shift in May 2024 when he decided to move to the beachside village his wife was from in the Cebuco municipality.
What you mean by that?
Unfortunately, it wasn't long before this spiraled into the worst decision he'd ever make. You see, Cebuco is part of what's known as the Red Zone in the Philippines. Put simply, this is the most dangerous section of the country, especially for foreigners. Armed robberies, kidnappings, and even murders are not uncommon in this region, with over 40 Westerners going missing there in just the last decade. However, Elliot was well aware of this fact, as evident from his channel's description, which read, "I'm Elliot Eastman. I am 26 years old and I came to the Philippines about a year and a half ago, where I met the love of my life deep in the mountains of the Red Zone of the Philippines. I will be showing you my day-to-day life as the first and only foreigner to have ever lived here in Cebuco for a long period of time."
Okay.
He mentioned the danger in some of his video titles as well. But despite the threat to his life, he still wanted to build a life in Cebuco. So he rented an apartment and even built his own grocery shop near the beach, all while documenting the entirety of his journey on YouTube. Now, there were times when he felt threatened and had to hide from some locals to avoid getting in serious trouble. But despite the somewhat dire circumstances, Elliot was enjoying his time in Cebuco and slowly building the life he wanted. However, just when things were starting to look up for Elliot, tragedy struck.
Uh-oh.
The incident took place on the night of October 17th, 2024, when, after doing several short live streams throughout the day, Elliot went offline and sat for dinner with his wife and her parents. But then, a few minutes later, 4 men with guns barged into their home and started telling Elliot to go outside. These men were also wearing outfits similar to those of the Filipino police, likely in hopes of making Elliot more cooperative. Elliot, however, saw through their disguise and tried to run away. Unfortunately, that's when things went from bad to worse. One of them opened fire and ended up shooting Elliot twice, once in the leg and once in the abdomen. They then dragged him onto the speedboat they had docked near their home and sped off into the darkness. This was the last time anyone saw Elliot alive. By the time the police launched a search and rescue mission, the kidnapper's boat was nowhere to be found. The investigation then went on for nearly a month until the 12th of November. But when the police eventually located the kidnappers, they were forced into a shootout, resulting in 3 of the 4 culprits losing their lives. And while they did manage to arrest the last kidnapper, it was already too late. According to the kidnapper, Elliot succumbed to his injuries when he was on the speedboat. So
Bruh.
the kidnappers simply threw his body overboard to hide the primary evidence of their crime. Unfortunately, the police were unable to locate his remains and pronounced him officially dead in December of 2024. However, one question still remained unanswered. Why? Why did these 4 criminals target Elliot? Well, the simplest explanation is also the most likely one. They just wanted to kidnap him for ransom. Carisha even had a first-hand experience with this, as back in high school, one of her Canadian classmates was kidnapped and held for a ransom of $50,000 US. That said, there's also a second potential explanation that has to do with Elliot's side business. You see, while operating his grocery store, Elliot also started lending the locals money for 20% interest.
Wow.
The local loan shark likely saw him as a competitor and sought to eliminate Elliot before he took away any more of his business. This would also explain why the intruders were so quick to open fire if they wanted to hold him for ransom. Regardless of their motive, the end result was the loss of a young man trying to make a life for himself with his wife in a foreign land. His YouTube channel now sits abandoned, with its many uploads remaining as proof as the life he once lived.
That's sad, Joe. Rest in peace, Elliot. That's sad.
Benjamin Pardoon, known online as Warner the Goobermeister, was a comedian creator on YouTube who primarily focused on creating a genre of memes known as YouTube poops.
Okay.
Which is a subgenre of online humor that revolves around taking clips from other shows, usually cartoons, and editing them to have a bizarre, often nonsensical tone.
How have I never seen these? Because I'm a huge fan of SpongeBob. SpongeBob is, well, SpongeBob was good. I don't know how it is now, but it was good back in the day. Yeah, I've never heard or seen these.
Over time, Benjamin's channel had amassed over 8.7 million views, making him a well-known name in the YTP community. But after his upload on December 21st, 2021, he suddenly vanished from the internet, leaving his fans wondering what could have happened. Unfortunately, the reason for his disappearance was far more tragic than simply getting bored and moving on from the channel, as most of his audience had assumed.
Oh
The
God.
incident took place on the 27th of January 2022, when his older brother Chris tried to contact him many times but didn't hear back. Left with no other option, Chris called the police at around 8 p.m. to check on his parents and little brother. When the officers arrived at his house, the lights were on, but no one was answering the door. After repeated knocks, the officers knew something was off, so they decided to break in.
Wait.
But nothing could have prepared them for the horrific scene they saw behind that door. Inside, they found the bodies of Benjamin and his parents, all with visible gunshot wounds. However, what looked like a robbery gone wrong turned out to be far more tragic. According to the investigation, both Benjamin and his mother Deborah were shot by his father that evening.
Oh
Who, after
my.
committing the crime, decided to end things for himself as well. The news of this incident was a massive shock for Benjamin's viewers, as he never mentioned any family troubles before. Chris later
Why?
set up a GoFundMe page in November of 2022, which not only allowed Benjamin's fans to support the only living member of his family, it also gave some insight into what might have happened. According to Chris, Benjamin was born in 2005 and was soon diagnosed with autism. This made it difficult for him to interact with people in person. Because of this, he was homeschooled, and at just 8 years old, he started uploading on YouTube, hoping to make friends and find a sense
His father
of
couldn't
community.
take it or something.
Sadly, Benjamin's condition was far from the only challenge their family had to face. Deborah was also suffering from nerve damage after an accident, and the father Gregory had also gotten in a car accident in the past and could barely walk. On top of that, the family was also struggling with severe financial issues, which could explain why Gregory felt the need to take such a drastic measure, seemingly out of nowhere. As Chris puts it, "My dad was a proud man. He was ashamed to ask or seek out help." Although Benjamin's content was somewhat niche, it left a big impact on those who came across it, with some even uploading new videos in his style to keep his memory alive.
Dang.
Harley Dilly
Man, these are sad, yo. These are really sad, actually. That's tough.
was a YouTube channel run by a 14-year-old teenager from Ohio with the same name. He created the channel in 2013 to share his love of gaming, specifically the sports game Madden, with others.
Okay.
He also uploaded vlogs on YouTube where he talked about anything that was on his mind that day. But for Harley himself, these were more than just videos. They were one of the many forms of escape he had from his troubled life. You see, Harley suffered from oppositional defiant disorder and was also diagnosed with high-functioning autism. This resulted in him getting into heated arguments with his parents quite often and subsequently ending up in a worse situation. In one instance, he even posted a video talking about how he was locked out of the house after an argument with his mother, titled
Oh,
"I'm
what
Scared."
Hey guys, what's up? It is Harley Dilly. Probably one of my worst days in my life. I was at school and I was science test. I finished it and my computer says 1% battery left. So when I get to the next class and I put it on charger as quick as possible, but it didn't charge. None of the computers would take a charge. So I took it back and I had to fill out a complaint, and that's one of the most expensive parts of the computer. And my mom said she's not paying anything. We argued for about a good 5 minutes. Then she snapped. She said she was gonna call police, and she said she already did. And she locked me out of the house. So right now I'm outside. Yep,
Bruh.
it is 3:30. I haven't ate anything, and I still haven't even got to get my work done. My mom's gone. She won't answer the phone.
There were also allegations of some of his family members being physically aggressive to him.
Are you
But despite all
serious?
this, Harley was still a cheerful kid who wanted nothing more than to play Madden and grow his YouTube channel. Unfortunately, this ambition was tragically cut short on December 20th, 2019, when Harley went to school and never came back. The day had started off rough. Harley was still upset after arguing with his parents the night before, as they had refused to replace his broken smartphone. He also didn't want to go to school that day. But his mother Heather woke up early that day and, after some more arguing, convinced him to go.
Okay.
He left his house just before 7 a.m., but he was somehow absent from school and didn't return home that evening either. Harley had disappeared without a trace. Surprisingly, his family didn't report him missing until 11:50 p.m. on December 21st.
Bruh. Yeah, he didn't deserve this, man. He didn't deserve this. This is not okay.
Nearly 43 hours after he vanished. Their explanation for the delay was simple. According to them, Harley had spent the night at friends' houses without telling them before, usually after an argument. They assumed this time was the same. However, they couldn't have been more wrong. Something that became increasingly clear as the police investigation dragged on for days without uncovering a single clue about his whereabouts. The only thing they found was this low-resolution picture of Harley going to school that was taken from a neighbor's security camera. And that was it. Eventually, many other organizations, including the FBI, joined the search as well. They also distributed his missing posters nationwide and offered an $18,000 reward, hoping to receive any information that could lead them in the right direction. Unfortunately, although they received numerous tips, none led to any significant progress in the case. That is until the 13th of January, over 23 days after Harley went missing, when the investigators made the big discovery. They were re-canvassing the area immediately surrounding Harley's home when one of the investigators decided to check out the vacant house directly across from the Dilly residence.
Probably not good
This
news.
was a summer home and was fully locked at the time. There was also no indications of anyone breaking into the home. However, the investigators had looked everywhere else to no avail. This was one of their last options. So they acquired the key to this home and started looking around.
Okay.
They didn't find anything on the ground floor. But as soon as they climbed the stairs, one of them noticed a maroon puffer jacket lying on the ground, the same jacket that Harley was wearing on the morning of his disappearance. As they got closer, they also noticed his glasses lying on the floor as well. But there were no signs of Harley anywhere. Both the glasses and the jacket had also collected plenty of dirt, indicating that they must have been there for a long time. While they were looking around, one of the investigators noticed the chimney vent above where his glasses and jacket were discovered. This sort of vent is used to connect traditional wood-burning heaters.
Oh, okay.
Curious to see what was in it, he reached into the hole, only for his hand to touch human hair on the other side. There was no doubt about it. That was Harley, stuck in the chimney. Officers quickly dismantled the wall, and sure enough, they found Harley's body inside, with his arms raised above his head. A later autopsy concluded that he likely passed away the day he went missing. His particular position at the time of discovery also helped investigators piece together what might have happened that day.
Please tell me.
As the story goes, Harley didn't want to go to school that day, so he decided to spend the time at the vacant home until the afternoon to make it seem like he went to school.
Okay.
But when he couldn't find a way in from the ground floor, he climbed onto the roof using the antenna tower beside the house.
Bruh.
From there, he looked into the chimney and saw a relatively short drop and chose to climb down it to enter the house. However, what he failed to realize was that this chimney didn't lead to a spacious fireplace. Instead, it only connected to a couple of small vents for heater exhausts, leaving him stuck at the bottom. Due to the way he climbed down, his jacket was likely halfway removed already. So he pushed it through the vent to free up some space, and his glasses fell through as well. Sadly, there was nothing else he could do in that position. His chest was pressed tightly against the chimney's wall, making it impossible to breathe, resulting in him slowly succumbing to asphyxiation. Put simply, this was nothing more than a tragic accident.
Oh
Now,
my
given this conclusion, Harley's
God.
case should have ended there. However, some people, especially as YouTube viewers, weren't satisfied with the official report. Many of them believed that this wasn't an accident at all. Rumors started going around the internet that Harley's death was actually a murder committed by his own family.
How?
One of the first big points of contention was his jacket.
Right.
Since in one of the evidence images, it could be seen hanging from the door. These critics claimed that this was proof of the whole story being a lie. Some also argued that the shoes he was wearing in his last picture didn't match the ones the investigators found on him. However, despite the skepticism, the police stuck with their initial report. As for the jacket issue, that turned out to be nothing more than the result of one of the inexperienced investigators mistakenly moving key evidence. That said, whatever the truth may be, it doesn't change the fact that the YouTube community lost a genuine and passionate creator.
So wait, his viewers or his audience is pretty much saying like they possibly killed him and then dropped him into the not the balcony. They dropped him into the chimney. Oh my God, I couldn't think of the word. So his audience is pretty much saying that the parents killed him and then dropped him into the chimney to, like, I guess, dispose of the body. I mean, yeah, that's a possibility too, because I mean, you know, he didn't want to go to school. He had arguments with his mother prior to the next day going to school. Yeah, I mean, it is a possibility, but at the end of the day, he's still, you know, rest in peace. Rest in
Nicholas
peace.
Sonderegger was a 28-year-old YouTuber who loved two things in life: longboarding and dancing. He
Okay.
uploaded nearly 80 videos of himself doing both of these on his channel named Sunspeak, though his ultimate dream was to become a professional dancer. By 2017, he was living in San Diego with his friend Austin to try and make his dream come true. However, the two were completely broke and couldn't afford California's high rent prices. So, with no other option, the two decided to live in tents or random trailers they could find in the Salton Sea area.
Oh,
Salton
okay.
Sea used to be a popular tourist destination at one point due to its status as an oasis in the middle of the desert. But the water and the surrounding area became extremely toxic over time, turning it into a complete ghost town. On the flip side, this also made living there essentially free, which is what Nick and Austin were after. But what
Okay.
neither of them knew at the time was that the true danger of Salton Sea had nothing to do with its toxic climate. This danger came face to face with the two on the night of September 9th, 2018 at around 2 a.m. They were asleep in their tent when suddenly they were jolted awake by an extremely loud scream coming from the tree line not far from their camp.
What?
Fearing for their safety, they decided to just ignore it altogether and go back to sleep. Or that's at least what Austin thought. For some unknown reason, Nick later decided to go investigate the scream on his own after Austin had fallen back asleep.
Nope.
By the time Austin woke up the next morning, Nick was gone.
Oh,
He tried looking
bruh.
around for his longtime friend around town and discovered his flashlight lying on the ground just a block away from their tent. He immediately contacted the police and reported Nick as missing, who began looking for him almost immediately. But all they found was one of his boots, his pants, and his knife sleeve.
Oh,
His other boot, as
God.
well as his wallet and keys, were missing. More importantly, Nick himself was nowhere to be found. What made the situation even more bizarre was what happened days later.
Oh,
Austin
God.
returned to the same area he had already searched, but this time he found Nick's shirt and hat lying there, items that weren't there before. In other words, someone had likely placed them in that spot later. Sadly, the identity of this person was never uncovered, leaving Nick's case a complete mystery to this day. Nick's family has set up a
man.
website with all the information they have. They've also announced a $10,000 reward for any useful information. But despite these efforts, the case has remained cold. In fact, there are so few clues that I wasn't even able to find any solid theories either. Some have speculated that Austin might have killed Nick and hidden his body. However, the police
What?
investigation uncovered no evidence of foul play. There's still a chance that some unexpected discovery would crack this case wide open. But until then, Nick's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery, and his YouTube channel remains abandoned.
Wait, what? Hold on, why would he kill him? I'm trying to think of like why he would kill him. And I can't see a reason to. Honestly, I can't. That is that. Yeah. As much as I like paranormal, I think watching true crime is definitely a lot more scarier, a lot more disturbing. Let me know how y'all feel about it. This is intense. Yeah, if I could think of one perfect word for this, yeah, this is intense. But again, let me know how y'all feel. Give it a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more, and until next time, much love, much respect, and peace. Stay spooky, my friends.